How you guys doing tonight? Welcome into Rover Sports, and went to the game tonight. Went to the Giants-Eagles game at the Link. It's an incredible experience to go to a Giants and Eagles game. Great hatred, great rivalry on both sides. And the Eagles have been having the Giants number for a long, long time. I was very emotional tonight. It's not usual that a game will bring you to tears of sadness, of tears of emotion. It's rare. I mean, I'm not trying to act like a tough guy. I mean, I don't cry that often over certain things, but tonight, Eli Manning said that his wife, attended the game, and if Eli wasn't going to be starting, I wouldn't have tried to make the effort to really go. But just the fact that he was playing there, I just had to watch. I just had to watch the game. I had to watch the team. And, the first half, he hit that long throw to Slayton. He had a couple long throws. Team was just playing really solidly on the defensive side of the football. I'm just proud of the way that the team played defensively and stopping the run, making efforts, the linebacking core. And second half, the defense just couldn't make enough plays explosively to get off the field. That's the story of the game, is third down. The Sam Beal penalty. Just not getting any opportunities on offense, the defense not giving the offense opportunities. And then when the offense got it, they didn't do anything with the ball because they weren't able to run the ball. Because if you can run the ball effectively, you can force the defense to respect your running game. And, Zeitler got hurt during the game that Nate Solder was in. And the point is with the Giants is that, it's just a losing team, and they're going to find ways to lose, and Shurmur's just a proven loser. And I've been saying it as early as game 2, and it's very obvious now, 17-3. The guy just doesn't bleed blue, and as a Giants fan, he's not a guy that you'd run through a wall for. He's not a guy that I feel like is with me emotionally on the sidelines, is willing this team to win. I just don't feel that his message is very captivating for these fans to be patient, and he's just not one of us. And the next coach needs to be a guy that's one of us. It needs to be a Parcells or a Coughlin. It has to be some kind of savior. And really, Matt Rule is one of the only guys that can really be one of us, that really can be a savior. One of the guys that you'd run through a wall for, one of the guys that you'd get to know, and one of the guys that's so competitive. The Giants just need a leader that is competitive, not only from the coach, but they need a defensive guy that's a complete alpha out there on the field, that is a complete competitor, a complete warrior. And I think that the Giants have a couple of young players that really are that way. I think Dexter Lawrence can be like that. I think that Baker tonight made some big-time plays. But the Giants need to find ways to get interceptions and turnovers if they're going to win. They need to get interceptions. They need to get explosive turnovers. If the Eagles are down 14, they take forever to drive the ball. You got to force the Eagles to turn the ball over. You got to be a scary defense. You look at the best teams, whether it's Pittsburgh or New England. Pittsburgh and New England would have found ways to get first downs on those 3rd and 5s on offense. And then defensively, they would have found ways to slow down the Eagles when they needed to, when they needed to get a win. So it was like watching the Titanic, sink. And I'll tell you, I mean, this next generation of Giants fans they're not. It's rare that there's some Giants fans that have never seen. They have never seen a New York Giants team ever win anything of any meaning. This is now a team, and it just hits you. This is a team. In the past 9 years since the Super Bowl, they haven't gone to the second round of the playoffs in a long time, and without Eli Manning. Without Eli, there would have even been no Super Bowls at all without that guy. And that guy is a true winner, a true warrior, the last remaining guy from those years. And it just remembers, you just go back to the days of ground and pound offense with Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw and those guys that can make plays running the football. It brings you to guys like Plexico Burress, who during those years was a guy that can make one-on-one big level catches and just huge plays. Strahan, Osi Umenyiora, and Justin Tuck were guys that can take over a game defensively, where they had the capability of going into Philly and winning a game there because of the defensive line just making incredible plays. Antonio Pierce. But really it was the defensive line in the pass rush that was able to get to the mobile quarterbacks, was able to get them on the ground, and was able to make incredible plays. And the New York Giants need guys that are going to get to these quarterbacks, and they needed to get Carson Wentz on the ground even more if they wanted to win the game tonight. But Shurmur, 45 seconds left. He needed to call the timeout. I saw it firsthand. It's fairly obvious because the Eagles are not going to go for it on their own 45. You play to win the game. You're 2-whatever. And going to overtime, just opting for overtime, it was a complete wussy move. I would say the P word, and you guys know what that P word is. That's exactly how Shurmur coached the game. That's exactly what Shurmur it has embodied as a football coach. Just going to overtime, and then in overtime, the life was taken out of the team, and they just wilted over. And theoretically, they just wilted over and passed and died. And just sitting there, I mean, if you guys are ever Giants fans and you ever go to an Eagles game at the Link, I highly encourage you doing it. It's almost like fasting. It's almost like getting baptized. I mean, when you as a Giants fan go to the Link, and even tonight, and just seeing all the Eagles fans celebrate at your expense, that just drives just an emotion of, and that's why I was really tearful in that video that I made tonight on my channel, because it just gets you emotional. And there's really nothing else in my life that, there are, family and things very personal, but there's nothing like this football team, and the Giants have just given me some of my best memories ever in life. And it's just something that I've, every single fall and actually all year round, that it's just something that I care so deeply about. And even through the loss tonight, just seeing Eli at the podium, thankful for even tonight, Eli Manning strapping on the uniform, making big plays tonight. He's just so competitive, and he just cares so deeply about this franchise. And for him to stay here for 16 years in this day and age where athletes are jumping at the first chance to jump ship, the fact that he stayed his entire career here is something that I'll never forget. I'll never forget Eli Manning every single Sunday, watching him play for my favorite team, and he's my favorite player, and just what he lays out on the line for the team. Like, I'm just so thankful. And then, the Super Bowls, I mean, you look at a team like Philadelphia, they haven't won a Super Bowl in 50 years. You look at Detroit and even Cincinnati, and this is a rough time, in our franchise's history. There's zero doubt about it. But some franchises have never had the highs. I mean, you look at the Detroit Lions, they've never even had the highs of going to a Super Bowl. The New York Giants with Eli Manning were able to go to Phoenix, and you're able to have a whole week in Arizona, in the Arizona desert in 2007. You're able to have a whole week where you're on top of the freaking world, where you're on top of the NFL world, and you're representing the NFC. You're representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. You're there at the end of the road. You're at the end of the game. You're at the end of the puzzle. And the fact that the Giants got to Arizona in 2007, it's just, you could say we're living in the past, but if you don't live in the past, there's really nothing to kind of live for as you look at this franchise, because who the heck knows what's going to end up happening with this franchise. And I see pieces that I really, really like, and maybe Matt Rule can come in, and maybe the Giants can have their miracle coach that can bring, us back to where we need to go, which is competing for championships, which is winning championships. maybe the Giants can find that magical guy to do it because they need magic again. And Eli was absolutely magical. And Bill Belichick, there's certain guys that are magical. I mean, Sean Payton is very magical that every year he's able to compete. Andy Reid is sensational. And wherever he goes is magic. With a guy like Mahomes, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, just being able to compete and play meaningful games late in the year, that's going to be a wonderful feeling when that comes back. And at least with the next guy, like I know that with this young core, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be playing meaningful ball like late into December again. And when we beat Philadelphia in Philly, which hopefully will come soon, we'll remember 17-3 tonight and just everything Eli gave and how dark these times really are, just feeling so hopeless that the Giants are ever going to win a football game and just so sad, and it's so hard to win. This franchise, it's so hard to get wins. It's so hard to get those turnovers. It's so hard to break off a huge run. It's so hard to hit big pass plays consistently. It's so hard late in the game to get a strip sack fumble and have the ball on the ground or have jaw-dropping hits that caused the football to be fumbled, to ice the game easily, to blow teams out. And the Giants up 17-3, it's the same story here as last year, and nothing changed. So it's up to the owners, We're not in charge of this, but we can put pressure on ownership. We are the lifeblood, you could say, of the franchise, but it's up to us to put some pressure on the owners. This is unacceptable to just be up late at 17-3. And Shurmur's not the guy that's going to dig you out of the hole. He's not the guy that's going to get you to the promised land. He's going to get you 5 or 6 wins. And he's not a guy that truly bleeds blue, that lives and dies with this team. And he's just not the guy to do it. We've given him chances. Tonight, 17-3. He's just he's definitely had his fair share of opportunities to get wins this year. Whether it was Detroit, whether it was the Cowboys game earlier, the wins have been there. That great coaches would have figured out ways to devise plans to get wins. He's too busy complaining about the officiating and not focused on, on executing on offense. And then on defense, I mean, he won't even shoulder any of the blame to the defense tonight. In the presser, he needed to blame the defense for letting the Eagles offense waltz down 3 times for 21 straight points, which resulted in the loss of the game. What was it? Yes, 21 straight, nothing. Just like last year, just like every time we play the Eagles, just like the time last year we hosted them, no progress is being made under this coaching staff. I really believe that Dave has brought in guys that can get there. But will Dave Gettleman understand that Shurmur is just not good enough as a coach? And if Matt Rule wants to bring in his own staff for him to get Shurmur out, we're going to have to do it. And we'll evaluate what Dave has done. I mean, Dave has left his legacy here no matter what. Like if DeAndre Baker makes the game-winning interception next year, that's all Dave Gettleman. You got to thank him. If Dexter Lawrence progresses, if DeAndre Baker, like we said, if Zeitler, Hernandez, somehow this offensive line comes together under new coaching, then it's Dave Gettleman. If the new coach still struggles with the same pieces, then we're just a shit show, and that Dave has just swung and missed everywhere, and he took his crack at the bat and it just didn't happen, which is what's going to happen in life. You're either a winner or a loser in life, or specifically with this game. So it was important to go tonight, to feel Giants pride again. And it's important for the Giants fans, I mean, to feel this feeling of pain, because it means that you truly care. And that's what it's all about. That's where it stems from, is do you truly care? And apathy is unacceptable. And I don't think that the fan base is apathetic. I think that's why this Giants team has won those 2 Super Bowls, has won 4 championships, has been a part of winning divisions, and going to the postseason, because the New York Giants, they don't deal with apathy, and they were in the playoffs throughout their program's history. And, man, tonight was just kids nowadays, kids just growing up, I mean, that are half my age have never seen the championships. They were too young to really see the championships of 7 and 11. Tonight, you just got to remember those good times, hold them close. And then, if you hang on board, keep hanging on, you keep pushing on as a fan, which is really tough to do. When good times happen, you'll point back to these times. That's what'll make you cry as well, a different kind of crying, tears of joy. Tonight's tears of sadness. It's tears of great Eli Manning playing his last game in Philadelphia, probably as a New York Giant football player. It's always great seeing him out there, and it's just so much fun to see him. And for Eli Manning, like for fans that are saying like he should have selfishly stepped away or he's been keeping on too long, like for Eli Manning, playing football is the joy of his life, along with his family. And I'm happy that he gets to live out his dream each and every day and continues to do what he loves. You only got one life. And I loved Eli Manning's answer tonight when he said, legacy. He said, legacy, 116 and 116. Do you care about now being under 500? He said, I didn't even know that. I didn't even realize that. So he doesn't care about his legacy. He just enjoys the game. He's all in it to win. He's all in it for the franchise. He's not about himself. There's not one iota of selfishness. I just love the guy. I love everything about him. He's a great class individual, great role model for people to look up to, and a true pro. I just love everything about Eli Manning. I think we are blessed to have had him in the franchise because during these tough times, we could point to guys like him, to Michael, to OC, to Plex, to Brandon Jacobs, to Ballard, to Bradshaw, just guys that were Chase Blackburn, Amani Toomer, Chris Snee, Pettigrew, legends of the Giants. Kareem McKenzie, Hakeem Nicks, Victor Cruz. I just grew up with legends. So blessed to have seen those guys come through and beat the Eagles at the Link. You got to be blessed that you've had those people in your life. And tonight was just so sad because Eli's like the last piece from that. But will Dexter Lawrence, will these new guys carve out a place and truly ever get to that status? That remains to be seen. But those are my thoughts tonight following this game.